2009, a study was carried out that those from a public school do better in their university results, even if their GCSE or A-level grades were not as good as the private school students. What do you think about this?
I don't know. I think, maybe this is because, if you're going to a public school, maybe there's a bit more discipline, maybe be able to do well.
Surely in a private school there'd be more discipline.
Maybe. I think there's in a private school maybe.
Well, you went to a private school. What do you think about it?
Well, I think there's probably there's more pressure on you to do well.
So what do you think? As soon as a private school student goes to university, their pressure's off. So they
no,
don't
not
do
at
as
all.
well?
I know, but you pay for education all your life, and university it doesn't change. Maybe that you're doing something that you might enjoy more, but it changes for everyone when you're at uni.
Would you say because you went to a private secondary school that you've been given more opportunities within your education? And do you think going to a private school has affected how you got into A-levels and it will count towards going to university?
No, I think you can, like as you said from that statistic, I think everyone has an equal opportunity.
No, the University of Oxford, even if say there's a public school grade and that's higher than the private school students more likely to be let in just because of the status of their school.
Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Well, that's unfair then, is it really?
Well, do you think you'll be given more opportunities because of this?
Well, if you say so, yeah. I don't know if I will do because of my grade results. I'd like to think that I could, because my parents put a lot of money into private education, and it's a shame for that not to mean anything.
So do you think based on money that's more important than if someone's more clever and put more effort in, they should, because you've spent more money, you should be let into university, you should have more of an opportunity?
I think the opportunity should be equal, but if you've got to have the enthusiasm and the grades at the end of the day.
The whole issue of private schools, which have been coming under attack, or indeed been trying to defend themselves this week, with headmasters saying people who go to private schools are unfairly treated, headmistresses or head teachers going off to Switzerland because they say it's too painful to be defending yourself all the time, and Nick Clegg saying that he would make a choice. It's not about whether it's private or public, it's about what's best for your child.
Is there an issue about private schools? I think there is.
Completely unfair, but I guess there's not really a lot that can be done about it. It all depends on the university and how they feel about it.
Well, what do you think about? Do you think it's unfair that those may not have, families may not have enough money to send their children to private schools, yet that child may be more enthusiastic, may have done better in their results, yet they don't get the same opportunities as there could be a lazy private school student with rich parents, yet they get let into university?
No, I think that the people that do better in school should have the better opportunities.
Yeah, regardless of where they fit in. You went to a private school. What GCSEs did you get?
Well, I can't remember off the top of my head, but I didn't get anything above C.
We apologise for the delay, but we are currently experiencing a high volume of calls. Please continue to hold, and the next available agent will answer your call as soon as possible. Alternatively, you can email us from the Contact Us page on our website, www.education.gov.uk.
Okay, so right now I'm trying to get a hold of the education department to talk about why they're being so biased against public school students, even though their grades are higher than those of private schools. It looks like they're quite difficult to get hold of. Just have to wait. Hello? Hello. Hi. I'd like to ask you a few questions. Is that okay? Okay. Who am I talking to? Sorry.
My name's Barry.
Okay. Hello, Barry. Basically, I want to talk to you about Oxford University. They're being more biased towards private school students, even if their grades aren't as good as public school students. And there has been proof that those from a public school, even if their grades aren't as good as GCSEs. Okay, but what do you think about that?
Sorry, I can't comment on that, I'm afraid.
Why is that?
Because I'm not in a position to comment on that.
Okay, thank you for your time.
Okay.
Bye. Zach, thank you for talking to me today.
No worries.
In our previous chats, we discussed that you went to a public school. That's correct, right?
Yeah,
What school did you go to?
it's Beaconsfield Secondary School.
All right. So, how would you say the classes were set out? Like number of children per teacher and.
Well, there were 30 in a class, which is just, as far as I know, the average in a comprehensive. But we all seemed to sort of get equal attention, really. I thought it was pretty fairly organised.
So, would you say it was, even though it's a public school, you'd say it was a good school?
Yeah, I don't think that if a school is a public school doesn't mean that it's automatically a bad school. I think that you can still get brilliant public schools.
So, when people say like private, people expect better from private school students, what do you think about this?
No, yeah, I think that there's a certain preset about private schools, that private school students will automatically do better in life and they'll get better grades and they'll be more mature and all of this, but I think that it, quite frankly, depends on who you are as a person.
So, what GCSE grades did you get?
I got a couple of A stars, a couple of A's, and then B's and C's and some other D's and E's.
Oh, so overall though, you did get pretty good marks.
Overall, yeah, I did quite well.
For I say for a public school, I mean in the eyes of, yeah. But, so in 2009 a study was carried out that those from a public school do better in university than those from private school, even if the private school's marks were better than those for public school, yet universities such as Oxford are being biased towards only letting in private school students, even if their grades aren't as good. What do you think about this?
I actually read about that. I thought it was I thought it was quite surprising. I thought that purely because, as I said earlier, this whole preset idea that people from private schools do better, I sort of had it in my head that Oxbridge's sort of candidates, that being all private school tutor would actually be better than any public school students that they had. But yeah, when I read about it, I was quite surprised that it wasn't the case. But I sort of thought, I mean, it all really, again, depends on who you are and how mature you are in the classroom and how you're driven to complete your work. And I don't think that all private school students have that, and it entirely depends.
Yeah, exactly. Like, in the eyes of Oxford, if you go to a private school, you're automatically better than public school. But quite a few private school people, they're probably just like, their parents can afford to send them to private school, they have a lot of money, and because of this probably don't try as hard as someone from a public school where they don't have as much money in their background, not as wealthy families, they're more driven to do well.
Well, it's more of a one chance thing.
Yeah, exactly. Like, they don't really have anything else to fall back on because while they're young they have free education.
Mm-hmm.
But what kind of background would you say you come from?
I would say it's, I mean, obviously just sort of middle to working class, like just sort of pretty average really. I mean, I grew up in a couple of different places because my parents were divorced when I was very young, so I lived an equal amount of time in different places, but both were perfectly ordinary, normal places with good surroundings, good upbringing, good opportunities, and yeah, I thought I had a good upbringing.
So do you think even though you went to a public school, but you did get good grades overall, do you think you'll be given the same opportunities within education, or have you been given the same opportunities?
I think that my opportunities to go to places like Oxbridge are limited unless I really excel in my A-levels. I think that it will be very difficult for me to get in. But then again, lots of people still do. But it's all about sort of, with Oxbridge, it's about looking at your GCSEs, which have to be impeccable, and then your A levels, which have to be impeccable, and then your interview has to be very impressive. So it's very selective. So I think that I would love to, but I'd be very lucky.
Okay, well thank you very much, Zach, for talking to me.
No worries.